Good morning, everyone. It is your host, your friend, your boy, Jet Black, the one and only, here with another exciting live stream. And in this video, I am going to be playing Dueling Book. Dueling Book. That's right. That is what got a vote. That is what was voted for in today's fan poll stream. Your boy Ryan, aka Darkness Approaches, voted that we make a Highlander deck in Dueling Book. So I'm going to be chatting with Ryan in Dueling Book, trying to figure out specifically what is Highlander format. We've talked about it before, but I want to make sure that I'm clear on the rules. That way, when I'm making a Highlander deck, I understand exactly what I'm doing. So give me one moment. I'm going to get the live chat up. That way, I'll be able to read what you all are saying in the live chat below. Because you know that a big part of these Dueling Book streams is talking with the audience, interacting with you guys, just hanging out, chilling via YouTube. It's been pretty dope doing these live streams, and I'm excited to continue doing more in the future. We're steadily getting closer to subscribers. Hopefully we can hit it. I imagine that we will by the end of February, but I don't know. Fingers crossed on that. But yeah, right now I'm just waiting for the live chat to load. And also, like I said, I need to talk with Ryan to make sure that I have a full understanding of Highlander. I believe Highlander makes so where you can only have one copy of each card in your deck. At least that's what I think is what Highlander format is. We're about to find out. Ryan said, "Hi, Jet." Yo, Ryan, welcome to the stream. It's good to have you. Matt said, "Jet, Ryan's vote is being misinterpreted. He asked for you to build a Highlander deck, not for you to play custom duels." Then Matt said, "Be like a genie and screw over Ryan." Then Ryan said, "But I still won. So we built a Highlander deck." Matt said, "You won asking for the building of the deck, not the using of the deck." Oh, it looks like we're getting some messages on Dueling Book. Also looks like the pulsing animation for the chat got weird. Oh, there's your boy Ryan, and then here's Absent. And then Absent's like, Nick, are you recording?" Yes. Okay, so Ryan, teach me more about these Highlander decks. Like, how do they work? Is it just one card, like one copy of each card per deck? Like, how's this going to go? Let's see. Absent says he's working on a new deck. Can he be in the video? And he asks, am I streaming? I am streaming. Well, this stream is about making a Highlander deck. Oh, then here's Ryan. He said, "Jet, go to the deck builder. One moment, I'm about to post a status." Okay, so I'm hitting the post status button. Let me scroll down a little bit. Let's see. Matt said yes. And then Ryan said, "So the deck building shall commence." Okay, let's see. I am live streaming. I am doing a Highlander deck build live stream. Post status. Okay, let's see. So your boy Ryan said, so a Highlander could be formatted in a couple different ways. Oh, tell me more. Absence said live streams are gay. Glad to see Absence already ready to leave those status replies. Let's see. And then Absence said, so no duels. Depends on how long it takes to make a deck. Let's see. Going back to Ryan. Ryan said you can have a normal variety, which would mean only one copy of a card. And then he said you could have a traditional format version, which could include one copy of forbidden cards. So you could have banned cards in it. That's interesting. Then Absent said, okay, Well, if it's just starting, can you like look at the cards I have so far with the deck I'd link? For a Highlander deck? Question mark. Also, I thought I set it to my statuses. I feel like I'm just seeing like the normal like status stream. And you said no for his custom deck cards. Maybe later. I haven't even started building the deck yet. Let's see. So then Ryan said, or a strict version, which would have no cards on the forbidden/limited list. I prefer the first one. Can we do custom card Highlander? Absent said, yeah, if you set it to your statuses, it will only show yours, but new ones will show up. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that's how it worked. That's good to know. Let's see. Oh, we got another message from Ryan. Also, let's scroll through the live chat, make sure we're not missing anything. So let's see. Matt said, wow, the Yu-Gi-Oh community is bad. We should leave and head to Dragalia Lost. Then Bionic Extreme said, hey, yo, Bionic Extreme, welcome to the stream. It's good to have you. Make sure to smash that like button if you haven't already. Ryan said all communities are bad. And then Matt said, no, paint watching communities are pretty nice. I don't know about that. I've never checked paint watching Reddit. Then Ryan said we can do custom card Highlander next time. So you're telling me this isn't a custom card stream? I got to change a few things. I definitely have this set up as if it's like a custom card thing. Let's see. Absent then said... it's not. They just didn't program it right. Oh, I see. Hopefully they'll fix it eventually. Then Ryan said, first, you need to understand the way. Okay, so what is Dewey? So real quick, I'm going to change the title of the stream. Let's build a Highlander deck, apparently. I was thinking as long as it was like custom cards in the Highlander deck, this would still work. But it's not, so it doesn't. And then I need to change the specific tags. Let's build a Highlander deck. Okay. And then I need to get rid of all of the own your play. There we go. And then I need to add the new Highlander base tags. And voila. Couldn't save changes. Nani the fuck? Okay, cool. So now everything's set the way that it should be. The universe is now in balance. Okay, so scrolling down. Nope, haven't missed anything in the live chat. I did miss something from Absent, though. Let's see. Absent said, what are Highlanders? So Highlander decks, from what Ryan described, there are a few different types of Highlander decks. But the type that we're going to make is a Yu-Gi-Oh deck where you only run one copy of any card in your deck. Normally in Yu-Gi-Oh, you can have up to 3 copies of card in your deck. And this, you can only have 1. In other words, this isn't the deck builder. In other words, you're going to end up with decks that seem all over the place because of the fact that you can't like take advantage of having multiple copies of cards for consistency. It's pretty much a less consistent deck. What do I keep? I think I keep hitting the duel room instead of the deck builder for whatever reason. Matt said, so, we only talked about this slightly among other things Saturday night, but how did you feel about D&D? Today's session, not today's session, but the D&D session we had the other day. So me and Matt are in a D&D group. You can check out those videos on the channel. They're called D&D Fool's Kingdom. We currently have 2 episodes up. I didn't like how Gerard cucked me out of my background feature. It seemed like Colin was cool with it. It wasn't something that I sprung on him that day. So Colin like already knew what I was doing. But Gerard didn't know. And Gerard was like, he's going to like do all this crazy stuff with it. But Colin clearly didn't care and had like the ability to control whatever I would have done with my background feature. So it was really weird because Colin, after Gerard says that, goes, I didn't know it would be a problem. And then he like gets rid of it more or less. He like changes it. It's like a completely different feature now, even though he was fine with it before. So I'm going to name this deck Highlander. Put it in. Let's see. So Matt said the main issue was Colin inserting himself into characters that have pre-existing personalities. So that's Matt being upset about what happened with the sword. Matt has a sword that's possessed by like an evil god, and Colin essentially took control of the sword and made it speak in a way to which Matt wouldn't have wanted the sword to have spoken, because even though the sword is an evil god, it's something that like Matt's defined the personality of already. Let's see. Absent said, so wait, this isn't a custom card stream? That surprised me too, Absent. I thought that this was going to be custom cards. I just had to change the title because he was like, we're not going to put custom cards in the Highlander decks. I'm like, what? So I guess I need to just get started on making something. We kind of came into this without having any pre-built ideas, except I thought I could have custom cards. That was the only thing that I like knew from the get-go. Let's see. Then he sent me a Blogspot link. I'm probably not going to click a Blogspot link. I haven't seen Blogspot in forever. He said, so I'm sad now. This isn't a custom card stream. Feels bad. I think it's weird, too, that it's not custom cards. That's the main reason why I fuck with Dueling Book. Why would we do Highlander here instead of doing it on Nexus? I think that's kind of weird. Let's see. Matt said yes and no. It still is an overpowered ability, but it could have been managed. Yeah, I feel like Colin had complete control over how that background feature would have worked. So I don't think it's like too insane for me to have had that background feature because of the fact that I left the Viziers in control of Colin. Colin like could choose how good or bad the Viziers were. I didn't build their characters on purpose so that Colin could make them as fleshed out or not as fleshed out as he wanted them to be. So I feel like it should have just been at Colin's discretion and that Gerard should have just like let it ride because it wasn't a problem. It was totally within like Colin's right to allow me to have it. It just felt awkward. Let's see. And then Matt said, and Avery's God. True, Colin made Avery's God character that he made into like a god of patriarchy, even though that's clearly not what Avery wants. And Avery, like multiple times during the campaign, is like, that's not what my god is about. And Colin's like, yes, it is, because it's my campaign. Matt said, if I was DMing, I probably would have let you have an entourage of 2 to 3 people, but would hold you to every action you take as far as how they view you. You still have a decent advantage, though, with them in essentially a base of operations. He said, heck, we essentially have a free residency in the capital. Well, that's mainly because of the fact that we took down like the cult of Oberon in the capital. I imagine in each city where we take out the cult, we'll be able to have free reign without being like in danger. Ryan said, Dueling Book has a better deck builder, which is hella important for you to design such a deck, which will be based on the nature of individual cards. That is true. Absent said, oh, have you seen the new Dragon Ball movie? I haven't seen the new Broly movie yet. I've heard bad things about it from my friend Chase, which really surprised me. So I don't know how to feel about it. Absent said, dude, fuck Yu-Gi-Oh! This is just becoming a podcast or whatever. He said, you should do a podcast. I mean, I like Yu-Gi-Oh! I just don't have a concept for a deck. It was really weird because of the fact that I'm down with making a Highlander deck, but I wasn't prepared to not even have access to the custom cards. So now I'm like, fuck, I don't really know what I want it to be. I was going to throw like a few custom cards in it and then just try and make something around it. Let's see. Matt said, no, your crew has a church. He said, we can sleep in the church. They take tithes and they can do research. I mean, yeah, but I feel like they could have done that already. I think the point is I should have been able to choose to have them do that rather than it be like that's now their only function. You know what I mean? Seems odd. Let's see. Absent said bad things. He said Chase is retarded. He says it's fucking amazing. He didn't like the CGI effects. He felt like it felt like a video game at times. Also, time to figure out what the hell I'm gonna do for this deck. Feels weird. Okay. Damn, what's up with that attack and defense text? I can't even fucking read that. Oh, wait a minute. Is there like a bigger window over here or something? No. I can read like his bottom stuff. What is that attack and defense? It just looks like straight up gobbledygook. I don't remember the cards looking like this. I think he has 2,000 attack and 1,000 defense. I'm pretty sure that's what it says. It just looks weird. Then Absent said, it's an anime movie. He said, the animation style is unlike any Dragon Ball movie I've ever seen. He said, the way that they wrote Broly into the story is amazing, and they successfully made Broly tie into the Dragon Ball Super's plotline flawlessly. It's great. Do they refer to Kale? I feel like if they don't refer to Kale, it's not flawless because of the fact that, like, they've seen something similar to Broly before. So it's just odd if they don't mention her. You know what I mean? Not saying that they have to make it a good movie. It's just for that flawless tie-in. I would expect at least that. You know what I mean? Right now, I'm trying to make a deck with only one copy of every card. But I didn't really have anything in mind before. He says, it's great. I'll fill you in a little bit. I'd rather you not, only because of the fact that we're doing this on a stream. So I don't want to spoil anything for people who like haven't seen the Broly movie yet. Let's see. Let me read what happens. Matt said, since all the islands are close together, we could even theoretically return to the capital city whenever for those benefits. He said, what I will also point out is that a lot of things would force them to stay behind anyhow, such as the size of our boat. Matt said, although Gerard shouldn't have freaked out, Colin was wrong to not perceive your entourage as an issue and not doing proper record keeping, such as how he couldn't remember the sword teleporting back to my hand. Let's see. Talking about how Colin should have paid more attention to like what our backgrounds and character stuff were that we already like showed him to make sure that he was fully comfortable with it before we actually started the campaign, so that he wouldn't feel like he had to like do a flip around. Let's see. Absent said, it's not going to be a spoiler. I mean, as long as you don't actually spoil anything, that's fine. You know what I mean? So I want to get the one who does the option tokens. But I don't remember who that is. There we go. Victory Viper. So if it destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can make option tokens. Do I want Blue Thunder? Yeah, probably. Blue Thunder doesn't seem bad. Let's see. George said, so what type of deck are you making? So there's a Highlander deck. And Highlander, you can only have one copy of every card in your deck. Right now, the focus of this deck are... I mean, I'm not sure if I really want Berserk Gorilla. I really like Berserk Gorilla and Ape Fighter as cards. But I don't think Berserk Gorilla really goes with what I'm trying to do with this deck. So I might get rid of Berserk Gorilla. Throw them in the trash. But right now with Ape Fighter, if it destroys an opponent's monster by battle, it gains attack. Then we have Zombow Wow. Whenever this card declares an attack, it gains attack. Then you got Victory Viper. Whenever he destroys an opponent's monster by battle, he can gain attack, or he can summon like a token that has like the same effect, like not the same effect, but the same like attack and defense. And then this one, whenever it destroys a monster by battle, it can summon like a token, just summon like another setup that has like 1500 attack and 1500 defense. So right now it's monsters that either gain attack whenever they destroy another monster by battle, or monsters that whenever they destroy a monster by battle, they like summon another monster. Currently in this deck only has like tokens. So it's a very like battle-based deck right now. Let's see, scrolling down. Matt said, otherwise, I'm slightly annoyed that Avery gave you hair, given that he had no reason to believe you would actually take it behind his back. I don't know. The way that Avery described it for the D&D campaign, why he like gave me his godly hair for me to like try and make a god out of it, is because he's like, regardless of whether or not I give you the hair, I think you're going to make a god. So I think he's thinking that because he's benevolent, that hopefully his hair will help make the god benevolent. Because he knows he can't stop me from making the god. I mean, he could try to kill me, but he's not that interested in killing me. Let's see. So Absent said, Broly isn't just a rampaging monster like he was in the other Broly movies. He's a normal character who can speak coherently. Also, I just want to point out that at the end of Dragon Ball Super, Goku mastered Ultra Instinct in like 10 seconds. I do think it's weird how Goku like mastered Ultra Instinct at the end of Dragon Ball Super. That is spoilers for the end of Dragon Ball Super. For anyone who's like keeping up with the dub, Dragon Ball Super, the Japanese sub has been out for like a hot minute. I apologize for reading that out. I didn't think about it as a spoiler, even though he said at the end of Dragon Ball Super, because it feels like Dragon Ball Super ended forever ago, ended like last year. So if you weren't aware of the Ultra Instinct thing, I apologize. But that is a thing. Let's see. Ryan hasn't said anything new yet. It's been mainly Absent, like sending messages. Let's see. Matt said, meanwhile, you really wanted to pull a trigger to my head. So that was something. Well, Matt, your character was more or less saying that he like wanted to die. And I was like, well, if your character wants to die, I'll like gladly kill him if that's like what he really wants. Then your boy George said, how about a Blackluster Soldier? He said that double attack should be useful. Let's look up Blackluster Soldier. Matt said there are definitely non-murder ways to stop you from making a god. I mean, that's essentially what the cult is doing. You can ritual summon this card with Blackluster Ritual. Are you talking about Envoy of the Beginning, or are you talking about Blackluster Soldiers summoned through like a very specific means? Like which, like BLS, I guess would be my question. If this attacking card destroys an opponent's monster by battle after damage calculation, it can make a second attack in a row. That's not bad. And then Matt said, but from Avery's perspective, there are like other ways to like stop me from like making a god. Well, right, like he wouldn't do it the same way that like the cult does it. Then Absent said, I don't have a life. What do you expect? And then he said, you should do a Roblox stream sometime. The computer that I use is like a Chromebook, and Roblox isn't like optimized for Chromebook. So I'm not really like in a good position for that. Must be special summoned from your hand by banishing one light and one dark monster from your graveyard. I wouldn't feel comfortable putting him in yet. Well, actually, I do have one dark monster. Once per turn, you can activate one of these effects. Target one monster on the field. Banish that target. Face up. This card cannot attack the turn you activate this effect. Or if it destroys an opponent's monster by battle, it can attack a second time in a row. I guess I'm curious about whether or not I'm super into his attack a second time thing. I want more gain attack cards, so I'll put him in the side right now. I will consider him. But in the meantime, I will go into description and just type in like gain attack. It's loading kind of slow. It's trying. It really is. There you go. Then Matt said the meme will be when more of my backstory can be revealed. I'm excited to learn anything about like anyone because no one has really shared their stuff except for like Avery. Like Avery has revealed a good bit about like his background and who he is and what he's trying to do. Gerard has gone over his background a little bit, but you can feel that there's like more to it. CJ isn't sharing fully what he does. For the most part, he just says that his character is old, but that doesn't tell us much of anything. It's interesting, I'd say, but I don't know. I feel like we don't know a lot about like most of the characters. Let's see. So gain attack in the description only gives you like these things. That's a very limited list of things. But yeah, my computer can't really handle Roblox because it's a Chromebook. So Chrome OS, there's not like a Roblox made for Chrome OS. Then he said, you should make a custom card stream with me sometime. He said, also, the blogspot link isn't anything inappropriate. I think it's weird that it's cornhub.blogspot.com. You know, that kind of immediately has some flags to it. Let's see. Then Matt said, since we haven't touched on anything regarding the Dark Gales, then he said, I shared a good amount. He said, I feel more than Avery. You feel like you've shared more than Avery? I mean, you've mentioned the sword and like why the sword transforms you and the fact that you like change your color and that when you change your color, you gain access to like different abilities. And it's due to like this evil god that's like inside the sword that possessed you when you touch the sword. I still feel like there's a lot more. I feel like you've explained how your sword powers work, but I still feel like there's more to be explained. I don't feel like I understand you as fully as I understand Avery. I feel like I really understand where Avery's coming from, like what he does, who he is, and what he's trying to get. I know that you want to break a curse, Matt, but what else? Like after you broke your curse, like what would you do? I know with Avery, after he like beat the Oberon cult, he would just like return to his like religion. He would like talk to his father and he asked for guidance. My character is just super curious about magic. So if he succeeds to build a god, he'll probably just try to do something even crazier with magic. Maybe he'll go and try and make like an entire pantheon. Maybe he'll realize making a god wasn't a good idea, but think of something else that's like crazy, like try to make the magic equivalent of an atomic bomb just to see if he can fucking do it. You know, like my character is very odd in that way. But I don't know what you would do, like after you got what you wanted, like after the curse was broken on you. And I feel like if I don't know what you would do after the adventure, then I don't have a good idea of like how your character is and like what their true motivations are and what their long-term goals are. Because that's what matters. What are you trying to go for the long term? Matt said CJ doesn't have a background. That's why. He claims he has one that he hasn't shared. But I don't know. Let's see. Ryan said, as most things will have the number gained between the word gain and attack, like mage power. I see. So I see what you mean. I'll have to figure out a better way to do that. Let's see. The ones that make tokens, I'm actually vibing with a little bit more than the ones that just gain attack. I might side a couple of these gain attack ones. They'll probably end up in the deck, but I'm just reevaluating a few things. Let's see. Definitely throwing in stuff like Hippo Carnival. 3 of them? No. Can't do 3 of them things. That's actually the whole point. Okay. Fires of Doomsday. Do 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 do. Let's see. Then Matt said, my age, that I'm a traveler, and my perspective on a situation is pretty much all CJ said. Is that like he's old, that he travels, and that because he's old, he like knows things. And then George said about getting attack. How about Mage Power, United We Stand, and Scapegoats for tokens? I agree with that. I actually did throw in Mage Power and United We Stand. But I do think I'm starting to go more of a token route. I definitely like understand where you're coming from with that. So we got Scapegoat, and then now we have Scapegoat and Scapegoat. Let's see. And then Ryan said Scapegoat as well. Then Matt said, here's the thing, though. Some characters are in a never-ending cycle of their pursuit or don't see a perceivable end of their quest. I guess you're saying that's where your character falls in? I mean, after you, like, get what you want, Matt, are you telling me your character just doesn't have, like, anything else? Like, if your curse was broken, would you be like, my job still isn't done? Let's see. And then Matt said, for instance, what does Goku really aim for? To fight strong guys. He says nothing within that says that he will ultimately choose to pursue in order to achieve that. Well, we know that if Goku defeats a strong guy, that what he'll do next is he'll probably train to fight another strong guy, and he'll search for another like strong opponent. With you only have like one curse to be broken on yourself. Like, I don't think it's going to be a thing where you like, I like have this, I got a new curse. I'm like, my sword got possessed by another god and I got to like do it again. You know, I feel like I want to know your base motivation so that I know that like after you break the curse, what you'll try to do next. Because really the long term is what matters. I know that my character, after he tries to build a god, is going to like try to build another one. Well, he doesn't necessarily have to try to build another god, but he's going to try to do something that seems equally impossible with magic, because he wants to prove that magic doesn't really have limits as long as you can find the right components for what you're trying to do. Let's see. And then he said, your character is another example of that, as he has a one-track mind for his God mission. He probably has no idea what he'll do after he actually achieves it. I know that he'll try to do something crazy with magic, because like I said, he's trying to prove that magic doesn't really have limits. So he's more or less trying to find those limits and like overcome them in a similar way to how Goku tries to find limits to his strength and then like surpasses them. By just trying to find the components for like the spells no one else is really trying to make. So that's like the big like basis behind my character. So even after he builds a god, he'll try to figure out what is beyond a god that magic can like create. So that'll be like the big thing that he strives for. And then Ryan said, but definitive goals are too easy for Goku to achieve. Then Matt said, my age, that I'm a traveler, my perspective on the situation was in relation to my character traits, in addition to what was already discussed. And then he said, you know that, but is that perceivable from an outside perspective? Like if I wasn't to have just now said it, would you guys have known? I guess that's a good question. Probably not. Also, what's the photon thing? The spell card that, I know that sounds hella vague for me to say. It's the spell card that summons tokens. I think they have like 2,000 attack. They're like really thicky. Special summon 2 photon tokens. 2,000 attack and defense position. These tokens cannot attack. Okay, yeah, they're thicky, but they can't swing at anybody. I think that's why I never really use Photon Sanctuary. I could see myself running Stray Lambs, just like a copy of Stray Lambs, even though they're not that good. And Highlander is just like you get cards rarely anyways. Also, this is very little progress. At least we're like a fourth of the way through a deck. I have to end the stream in like 7 minutes. I feel like a lot of it has been talking. My apologies. I didn't come into this knowing like what I would make for the Highlander deck. So I'm trying to figure it out as I'm like reading through it. Then George said a one-time passcode is another spell that gives you a token. I know it from playing Cyvers. Oh, speaking of Cyvers, Clock Wyvern is a card that gives you a token too, but it has attack. That's interesting. I'll look into that. Okay, so first I'll look up one-time passcode. Does one-time passcode have a hyphen in it, or is it a space? Let's see. Ryan said, it's fine. It can often take a while and is subject to constant tinkering. That's understandable. So people coming into the stream will kind of already get that idea. Absent said his Cornhub blogspot is safe for work. Let's see. Special summon 1 security token, Cyber's light level, 2000 attack, 2000 defense monster defense position. Oh, shit. It reminds me of the Photon thing, but it's better. I mean, it's not that it's better. The Photon thing summons 2. This has 2000 attack and defense, and it has no limitation that prevents it from attacking. It just gives you like a thick boy for free for the most part. Let's see. And then you recommended Clock Wyvern. I'll look at Clock Wyvern. What level is that monster? I remember Kratos showed it to me when it was like first announced. He was like really hype about Clock Wyvern. As a matter of fact, he showed it to me when it was like in the anime, I think. He got hyped for it, and then it came out as a card. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can half this card's attack, and if you do special summon 1 clock token with 0 attack and 0 defense, whoa, he's starting off kind of weak. Yeah, because he only starts with like 1800. I'm not sure if I would fuck with that hard. I'd have to think about that. Let's see. Absent posted something else. He said, if you're ending the stream in 7 minutes, can you look at my deck? He said, not my deck. I mean the cards that I have so far. If they're custom cards, can you just send me the names of them? You said you had like 5 of them. Because I imagine that I'm not going to make like too much progress in the next like 4 minutes. So I'm fine with like looking at your cards. You said you only have like 5 custom cards for me to look at. So there's nothing wrong with that. Let's see. Let's put it this way. What is more crazy than crafting a god? An atomic bomb is most certainly not that. I don't know, dude. I mean, if I like strove to create like the highest damage spell that exists, I feel like it would be pretty powerful if my character learned what was the current existing highest damage spell, gathered those components, and then said, let's go beyond. I feel like if there's already a D&D equivalent of like, this is like the strongest fucking like attack you could like possibly have, and like actual damage numbers, and then I threw in like some divine shit, now that I understand like how to make gods, I feel like I could make like divine explosion, like make like something that like goes beyond, maybe even something that's like world destroying, just to see if it's possible. I wouldn't necessarily destroy the world that we're on, you know, maybe destroy another world, you know, that's the thing. Just to test it, you know, see how it goes. Matt said, from what I understood from your character, he's essentially an endless cycle. I say that because all of his life is dedicated to his god. Once that is gone, there is a huge void. I don't think there's a huge void. He just now needs to figure out like what's the next limit to surpass with magic. So it'll probably take a little bit of thinking. Let's see. Absent said, I put a lot of work into it. Oh, could you like tell me the names of the cards so that I can search them here? That way I can still have the Highlander deck like on the screen, like what I've made so far. Because if it's just 5 cards, then you can just give me the names of all 5 cards, and then I can like get it all set up here. No problem. And he said, okay, cool. So X-Tyran, Master, oh, they all say Master of the Dark Arts, bet. The archetype name is really helpful. Also, cool archetype name. So let's see, all custom cards. He said that isn't something you can just fill in immediately. You would probably be listless. It's ultimately the same for my character. I don't think you'd be listless necessarily. He said it's dark arts. Oh, did I put a L? If so, my apologies. Here we go. So we have Bellicus, Master of the Dark Arts, requires 2+ Dark Arts monsters. When this card is link summoned, you may special summon up to 2 level 4 or lower Dark Arts monsters from your deck in defense position. You cannot summon other monsters on the turn you activate this effect other than Dark Arts monsters. You may only link summon, Bellicus, Master of the Dark Arts once per turn. So it's a link 3 that gives you like 2 more monsters that you could then potentially go into a link 5 with. Sounds like it gives you like a easy link 5. Let's see. Dragalia, Master of the Dark Arts. You can only ritual summon this card with the effect of a Dark Arts spell or trap card. Each time a Dark Arts effect is activated, place 1 Dark Arts counter on this card. During the end phase, if this card was ritual summoned this turn, or if a Dark Arts monster was sent from the hand or deck to the graveyard. Your boy Absence just saying, stop, just a shit ton. He says, Dark Arts. He said, those aren't mine. Wait, no, I can tell you the name. They aren't public, just use the link. Why are they private? Why is, I don't see the point of making them private. Also, it sounds like the cards you're making are part of a custom archetype that someone else has made now. I feel like because of the wording, depending on how you named yours, is like the same kind of thing. So I guess we're just gonna look at another thing. I think it's interesting that you want to share them, but they're not public. I don't know why do that. Let's see. Then Ryan said he can also give you the card's URL by sharing. He shared them through this. I wanted to be able to still show the Highlander deck on screen. Was my thing. So here are his Dark Arts cards. He hadn't shared them yet, which is why we weren't able to see them at the time. Let's see. Also, Matt said in the live chat, my character has been cursed for 300 years. Do you think he's going to bounce back to normal if the curse is ever broken? I mean, surely over the course of those 300 years while we've been striving to break the curse, you've had some other objective. Samurai Jack, as he tries to return back to the past, knows what he's going to do when he gets back to the past. He has like a plan. I feel like most people, especially people who have had tons of time, would like have been thinking about what they will do in the long term. Most people don't just have short-term goals. Matt said, you can always make this a jumbo episode. You have free liberty to make streams longer than normal. You've done that with your vlogs. Today, the big focus is going to be working on homework and hanging out with Aiden. Maddie's also shown interest in hanging out. So I know that I have like other things that I need to do. Then George said, for some reason, I'm thinking about Raw and Raw Sphere mode. I don't know if that's a good idea for this deck, but still. Interesting. And then Matt said, no. Okay, so now we're looking at Brow, Seeker of the Dark Arts. Quickie. You can send this card from your hand to the graveyard, then target 1 Dark Arts monster you control. It gains 1,000 attack and defense until the end of this turn. You can discard 1 Dark Arts spell or trap card, add 1 Dark Arts spell or trap card from your deck or your hand. From your deck to your hand. You can only use each effect of Brow, Seeker of the Dark Arts once per turn. Okay, and are they all quickies? You can send this card from your hand to the graveyard to grab a monster you can, to make the monster you control gain a stack for attack and defense. And then you can essentially trade spell and trap cards from your hand with those in your deck. Let's see, next up we have Silva, Summoner of the Dark Arts. Also, where'd you get this card art that you're using? They all seem to be like within like the same style of each other, which is why I'm curious. And they also look like Yu-Gi-Oh cards. The art fits like how like the Yu-Gi-Oh aesthetic works. But I noticed that you didn't put like an artist credit on the cards. Once per turn, you can discard 1 Dark Arts spell or trap card. Special summon 1 level 4 Dark Arts monster from your deck, except from him, but it cannot attack this turn. That's interesting as well. Throwing them out. So you throw out a spell or trap card, but you get a free monster. That's a unique special summoning mechanic. Then he said you can special summon this card from your hand by discarding 1 Dark Arts monster. You can discard 1 Dark Arts monster, send 1 Dark Arts monster from your deck to the graveyard. So it allows you to like Foolish Burial. It essentially lets you Dragon Ravine, but using Dark Arts monsters. Let's see. You can only use each effect of Snow Necromancer of the Dark Arts per turn. Let's see. Boom, 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 boom. You can special summon this card from your hand or graveyard by banishing one Dark Arts monster you control face up, except for him. I like that they all have unique special summoning mechanics. If this card is sent from the deck to the graveyard by a card effect, you can target one card your opponent controls and banish that target. You can only use each effect of Spurn Master of the Dark Arts once per turn. And then I'm curious how this one special summons. You can special summon this card from your hand or graveyard by banishing one Dark Arts monster you control face up, except Extrian Master of the Dark Arts. If this card is sent from the deck to the graveyard by a card effect, banish one card from your opponent's hand face up. You can only use each effect of Extrian Master of the Dark Arts once per turn. I like that they each have a unique special summoning mechanic. I like that they involve using cards of their own archetype in order to then have some kind of effect on your opponent. They seem for the most part to all either affect your opponent directly, grant you a search, or to be a way for you to activate the effects of other cards by fulfilling conditions. So not bad, especially for like these 5 cards. So right now it is 2:05, so I'm going to read a little bit more live chat, and I'm probably going to end the stream. Absent said, because I put a lot of work into them, just use the link, please. Understandable. I guess the only reason why I feel weird about it is because you're essentially sharing your cards with by providing the link and by having them shown on the live stream. So why not just have them be public in the first place? And then he said their card fight Vanguard artworks. Oh, I see. Interesting. Let's see. Looking back at the live chat, Matt said all he's been doing is trying to make up for the wrongdoings of the blade. So I imagine even after you got the curse broken, you would travel and you would try to make up for the wrongdoings of the blade until you feel like you have satisfied that. And if you feel like you've never satisfied that, or that you will never, then you'll just keep doing good deeds. Excuse me. But you doing good deeds is your long-term goal then. Your character is going to continue to strive in order to try and be a good person, to try and be better than that god that was in the blade that possessed you. So that's interesting. I feel like I understand your character a lot better. Then Absent said, okay, well, I'm going to head out. Oh, Cash later Absent. I'm also about to head out after I read a little bit more live chat. George said, oh, some Vanguard vampire characters. Yeah. Okay, ballin'. Good to know where they come from. Matt said, I think you're giving your character too much credit because his flaw ultimately isn't all that bad as it isn't life-consuming. What do you mean giving my character too much credit? I don't get it. He said you're making it so that the character is just mildly annoying in his pursuits and can move between his pursuits easily. Theoretically, it should be easy to persuade him to do other things. I mean, I wouldn't say that it would be easy to persuade him off of doing it, because even he feels like it's a bad idea for him to make a god, because if he can't control the god, bad shit could end up happening. There could be serious consequences to him making an evil god. But his curiosity pushes him to test the bounds, the limits of what magic is capable of, which is why after he would make a god, he would want to do something else. But that something else would have to be beyond a god. It would have to be something more extreme for you to do with magic than just to create a god. Work in Progress said he doesn't have much time left. Then George said, but they are so good nonetheless. Then your boy Matt said, but someone could persuade him to do lesser things. Why would he do lesser things? Based on how I've presented the character. What makes you feel like he would do anything less than build a god with his magic? Because right now he's mainly working with the party because he feels like the party will allow him to collect the components he needs for his god. And the only reason why he's asking for input from everybody, hey, what do you guys really want? Is that if you guys are going to help him build the god, you might as well get some benefit out of it. The viziers that he has don't follow him for no reason. they like are getting a benefit from his god. The way that I wrote it into the character's backstory, his current viziers just want a good afterlife. So they're not after anything like in the physical world. It's just when they die, they don't want to go to like a D&D equivalent of hell. They don't want to be tortured. So my god is supposed to help like serve them in the afterlife. But that doesn't mean that he can't do things for us. And since I'm making a god just for lols, I don't really care what the god does as long as it doesn't fuck me over. I'm like, if you guys are going to help me build it, you might as well get a benefit from helping me build it. Let's see. So then play this while you're out, Nick. Play what while I'm out? Let's see. Then Matt said, and build you back up to making your god. I mean, if you convince me to do like lesser things, I imagine they would just have to be steps toward me building the god. That would be about it. Because right now, everything I do as a character is to work toward building a god. Yo, Absent, I think you tried to post a link, but YouTube didn't let you. Because I see you saying play this while you're out, but then it doesn't have the link. Like, I can't see a link. He says it's a lit song. And then he said, George, what is your Dueling book username? Then Matt said, it makes sense if, for instance, you had 9th level spells and were already towards the cap of magic. At the point you're at, you couldn't even comprehend what higher levels of magic would be able to do. Well, I mean, my character's already like hella ambitious and like striving toward trying to like make some like crazy magical spell. So I feel like he's on his way. He's like trying to like get to that point. And then Absent said this, and then it didn't show anything. I'm looking straight at the live chat, Absent. It just says this, and then it doesn't say anything else. Then he said, you just overlooked it. I was like, no, I didn't. YouTube just isn't letting you post a link. I'm telling you what's happening. There you go. Chat thing on Dueling book. Okay. If I knew the name of the song, I could just like remember the name of the song and like keep note of it. Music wise, I know what I'm about to do is listen to SoundCloud Weekly, because I know that SoundCloud Weekly is going to have like a curated list of music based on my previous listening history. I'm going to try and find the best songs out of that. Matt said it would be like trying to make electricity usable in the Stone Age. It definitely would be like a crazy thing to be able to do. Then Ryan said links cannot be posted in the stream chat. Then Absent said you probably won't. Probably not, like being honest. And then he said it's called human murmuration. What an odd name. What genre of music is that? Matt said, but your character is just pursuing the last step without acknowledging the previous steps. My character feels like it's all components based for the most part. That's why he has such like a fixation on components. And in D&D, for the most part, we like just have the components, we use them, and then the magic happens. But there's like this hidden extra component that has to do with like spell slots and like levels of spell casting, which are game mechanic things that they're never like directly mentioned to in world. Rarely does anyone say like, I don't think I've ever heard an NPC character refer to like spell slots and like levels and shit for like magic. So I'm not too surprised that my character would be like, spells are just components. So if I just have the shit I need, I can just like do the spells that I want to do without acknowledging the fact that like, well, you only have so many spell slots and that there's spells of like different levels and shit, because they just feel like game mechanics from at least a player point of view. I rarely ever hear anyone say it in the world. And whenever someone says they're like a really like magic, like powerful magician character, they normally like know really powerful spells, but it feels like knowing a spell in D&D is knowing components. You know, like what you have to do somatically and what you have to say verbally and like what materials you need, you know, shit like that. Because it's not just knowing the name of the spell and what it does. It's like knowing what you have to do to make it work. But also, at least mechanically, it's having the ability to do it by having the correct level of spell slot, you know, shit like that. Then Matt said, but that fixation would leave you listless once it's fulfilled. He said fixations are consuming, but you don't see it as such. They are essentially parasites on your life. Well, I mean, I don't feel like you're understanding like how drastic my character's like choices are. The fact that like he would even consider wanting to make a god and then try and like maybe make something that could like destroy planets, I think is like some really serious shit. I am gonna end the stream. I need to exercise, shower. I need to like eat. Me and Aiden might eat. Me and Maddie might eat. It depends on like how it goes, because I know Maddie wanted to eat earlier. But anyways, I'd like to thank you all for watching. If you like this video, make sure to smash that like button. Favorite, comment, subscribe, and ding, ding, ding. Ring that notification bell to be notified whenever we do these live streams. This your host, your friend, your boy, Jet Black, the one and only. Long it out. Peace. Absent said Human Murmuration is a song in a genre called tech death. Tech death is an interesting genre name. I'm getting a call from Maddie. I'll catch you guys later. Yo, Maddie.